So I would wish to welcome you to today's session. It is at exactly 8:45. I want us to start. I would like to welcome Zachary. Could you unmute? Zachary Jiro.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
I'm on.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please pray for us so that we can start our day.
Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you because of this morning that we commit ourselves unto thee, so that you may be with us from the start to the end of the program. Father, without you, we cannot be able to make it. Father, we pray so that you may guide the participants. You even guide the facilitators so that they give us the best of the best. Father, throughout the day, be with us as we do this learning. Let this learning be of benefit to our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Zachary, for that prayer. I would like to request those who have not named their gadgets to please do. You just go to participants, you click against your name, look for more, and then you click on rename, and then you put your name there. Instead of reading Oppo A3, let it read your name, just like the others, how they have done it. You can see Andrew also has named his gadget. Musimim Musinga has also named their gadgets, and even us, including ourselves, we have renamed our gadgets. So at this juncture, I would like to welcome my co-facilitator to say hi to you, even as we prepare to start. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you, Madam Rebecca, and to all our participants who have managed to join. I would like to say good morning to everyone. I want to welcome you to this session 2 of our learning of Tpd, and I want to believe this time we are better off prepared than we were last time, and I look forward to a very fruitful discussion, a very engaging classes, and at the end of it all, I know you will benefit out of this exercise. Thank you and welcome, everybody. Back to you, Madam Rebecca.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. My name is Rebecca Muriuki. I'm a trainer at Kenya Education Management Institute, and we will be training you today with my co-facilitator, Vincent Okwemba. And I will start with the official opening speech from our director. So I want to read that speech from the director, KEMI. And I read, TSC officials, facilitators, principals, head teachers, tutors, trainers, CSOs, teachers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm honored and privileged to officially welcome you to KEMI for session 2, introductory module in Teacher Professional Development Program. Kenya Education Management Institute is committed to improving quality of education by enhancing capacity of educators through effective and efficient training programs, research and consultancy services. The Institute is the capacity building agency of the Ministry of Education, which advances best leadership and management practices in education sector towards provision of relevant, inclusive, and equitable quality education to the Kenyan child. KEMI has lined up a series of undertakings that are aimed at not only achievement of the Institute's mandate, but also in elevating Kenya to a position of relevance and prominence in the education sector. The most recent being accredited by the Teachers Service Commission to provide the Teachers Professional Development Program to all registered teachers in the country. I'm happy to announce that teachers have registered in large numbers to undertake this program with KEMI. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is a signatory to various global initiatives. Of relevance to this program is the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and to be specific, SDG number 4. The Constitution of Kenya, the Basic of Education Act 2013, the TSC Act of 2013, the Code of Regulation for Teachers, the competency-based curriculum and the 21st century skills are all advocating to a structured TPD. Indeed, the sessional paper number 5 is a clear indicator of the Kenya government committed to provision of high quality education for sustainable national development. Additionally, the Vision 2030 underscores the importance of education and training in the achievement of sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, in recognizing the importance of teacher professional development, TPD has structured professional learning activities for all registered teachers in Kenya. According to TSC, the program must be based on prescribed teaching standards, the Kenya Professional Teaching Standards, KEPS. As you will be told, it will make use of introductory module, teachers modules, and instructional leaders modules prescribed by the TSC and responding to competency levels of teachers in Kenya. The aim of TPD is to help teachers to acquire competencies, skills, and attitudes that are necessary to enhance learning outcomes and shape a sustainable future of education in Kenya. The basic idea behind the program is a teaching environment where all teachers have the opportunity to benefit from lifelong learning, to embrace values, behavior, and lifestyle required for the 21st century and positive societal transformation. In conclusion, I wish to thank you for choosing KEMI as your service provider for the TPD program. To all of you, we say thank you. We believe that your experience with KEMI will motivate you to want to undertake other short-term professional development courses offered by KEMI. May we remain focused, resilient, enduring, and encouraged throughout the introductory module, which will take only 1 year. May God bless you all. So thank you for listening to this speech from our director. And at this point, I want to welcome my COPAS facilitator, Mr. Vincent, to take us through the etiquette so that you are able to proceed with the training. Welcome.
Thank you,
Vincent.
Madam Rebecca. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Now to members, etiquette on Zoom meeting. This is just, we are reminding ourselves of the etiquette that will make our engagement to be fruitful and to reduce a lot of interferences. You are not new to Zoom meetings because we were with you the last session. So I believe this time around, you have mastered quite a number of this etiquette. But just to remind ourselves, the first one, mute your microphone when you are not talking so that you don't interfere with the meeting. 2, your video camera should be off all the time unless you are requested to put it on. You are requested to put it on, or you are the facilitator. So ensure your video is off, because when it is on, it interferes with the frequency and even reception for the others. So please ensure your video is off. Then make sure your full name is clearly displayed for your facilitator to see, and also for attendance. Now, my co-facilitator has already pointed out when we were starting, reminding us to ensure that we rename our gadgets if the gadgets were not displaying our real official names. We had quite a number. I counted at that time, there were about 10 gadgets that were not displaying the names of the owners. Like we had Galaxy A03 Core, we had Infinix Hot 6, we had Oppo A33, Oppo A83, Techno. Then we also had another gadget named ZP, another one Fade. We would want you to rename the gadget so that your official names are clearly indicated on the participants list. And just to repeat what my co-facilitator had said, if you don't know how to do it, click on the participants, then it will display a list of all the participants, including the gadget you are using. Then you click on that gadget. When you click on it, you will have options to rename, and then you type in your two official names so that we know who we are dealing with. Then make use of virtual hands to raise up for any concern. As we shall be going on with the discussion, as my co-presenter will be on stage facilitating, I will be in the meeting looking at the chart. So in case anybody has an issue as raised on the chart, which my co-facilitator may have not seen, I will be able to raise it to her so that she is able to address it. Likewise, when I will be facilitating, she will also be following and looking at the chart. So let us make use of the charts. Then if you are unable to use video, upload a professional profile image of yourself to your account. So on your account, like you can see on the screen, our co-facilitator is displaying a profile, a professional profile, and with that we can easily identify who that profile belongs to. Then request and receive permission before recording a Zoom meeting. The meeting may or may not be recorded. If recorded, you will be informed. Where appropriate attire, comfortable clothing, such as pajamas, are not appropriate for a class. When you are not in an appropriate attire, your video may come on without you noticing. And remember, this is a class of participants over 196 as per now. And then you will be embarrassed for others to see you in an appropriate attire. So make sure, as much as it is virtual, you are in an appropriate, your attire is appropriate, so that in the event your video streams, then you are not embarrassed, or you don't embarrass others also. So do not operate a vehicle while in a Zoom meeting or a class session. Assume you are always heard, visible, to avoid distractions in a meeting or a class session. So as much as we are far apart, but we are in the same classroom. So don't engage in other activities that will distract others who are following the lesson. Then keep your device plugged in to avoid the power loss during a meeting. We would want to journey through the whole meeting with you. So ensure that your gadget is powered so that at any time you don't drop out because of power failure. Then be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings, because the video can start streaming, and what will be streamed in the class should be something that is professional. Then keep stationary in a low traffic area to avoid distraction if using your video, and to avoid unwanted guests. Turn your camera off if you need to reposition. Then try to keep noises to a minimum when unmuted. Noises such as shuffling papers, clicking pens, eating or drinking, etc., can be much louder for audience members than for you. Pets barking, etc., and outdoor noise can be distracting as well. So when you are unmuted, make sure your surrounding is not noisy, because that noise will be interfering with the class and you may not know how much that interference is. So minimize that as much as possible. Then be aware of when your microphone is positioned. Be aware where your microphone is positioned on your gadget, so that in the event you want to contribute, you can easily click on it and contribute. And in the event you are not contributing, you will also click on it to mute it. So be aware where it is positioned for effective use and engagement. If you are using your laptop's built-in microphone for Zoom, keep in mind anytime you touch the laptop, it is the same as tapping a microphone, which can result in painful, loud, and destructive sounds to others. So take note of that. Then when invited to breakout rooms, please join. This engagement, we are going to have more of those breakout rooms, and we would encourage at any time we go for breakout rooms, don't remain in the plenary, join the room that will be assigned to you. And when you get into the room, please be active, participate, and also make sure you work within the limited time you will be given to be in that room discussion. Then eat before or after meeting, not during. Don't start eating while we are in class, because that will interfere with your concentration and even participation. Arrive a few minutes early to make sure the link provided works and your connection is strong enough. As you can see right now, it is 9, yet we were supposed to have started at exactly 8. But because most of us arrived late, that's why you have delayed others. And I know others are still joining, because I can see the number now is 201. And as we go on, you will find others joining along the way. Those ones who join late, they miss out on other points. And when you delay to join, you delay others to start the meeting. Then participate, stay engaged, and help make the meeting interactive for you and your peers. We would want to have a very interactive discussion, very engaging, where everybody participates, so that through participation, we shall be learning. I want to wish all of us a fruitful engagement, a fruitful discussion, that at the end of the 4 days, we will have benefited a lot out of this exercise. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Rebecca.
For guiding us on next bit. I hope you have all gotten what he has said, and you are going to obey, so that we have a smooth day, and we have our sessions without any interruption. And the program of the day, we will start with assessment framework, after which we will look at comprehensive school health, and then lastly, we will look at emotional health. So we have at least 3 main sessions that you are going to cover today: assessment framework, comprehensive school health, and emotional health. Then we shall have a closing photo. That is why he has emphasized that you ensure you are in official attire, so that when it comes to that photo, you will put your videos on, so that we can do a photo. So we will also have a closing prayer. So we have some few announcements that I want to make before I start you off. I will start you off with the assessment framework. Then my colleague will do comprehensive school health, and I will come in later to do emotional health. So you be ready with a paper and a pen, and be noting down whatever is coming to your mind, because mostly you will find that there is no exam in this TPD. So what you are supposed to do is to keep on reflecting. Now, before we start this session, what are you wondering about comprehensive school health and even about emotional health? That is the first thing that you will note in your journal. Then as we start running, you will note what, for example, will be coming to your mind as we learn. And then later you will look at what went on well in that session. So let me give you some few announcements before we start. And first of all is to thank you for choosing KEMI as your service provider for TPD. And today we are enrolling, or we are starting on session 2. Note that this is session 2 for those who have done session 1. All the new applicants will be taken through session 1 and 2 in coming makeup sessions. So you should know we are enrolling the second cohort after this. So ask your friends and colleagues to register for the same. And today, just as we are informed by my co-facilitator, as you join the meeting, you please rename your gadget. If it is a laptop or a phone, use your official names. And also, we will be posting registration forms in the chats. You ensure that when they are put in the chats, you are able to fill them so that it will be an evidence that you attended our class. And then always join the meeting with your audio on. This is to be able to hear what we are saying. If you don't put your audio on, then you will not be able to hear what we are saying. And then when you join, ensure that you mute yourself. Also, we want to make you aware that in this session or during our presentation, we have officers from TSC. These officers will be with us to monitor the progress of the session. So let us be active, let us be contributing so that they are also able to see that you are learning. For this session, mostly we will work in groups. Most of the time we will be in groups. So when that time comes, we will be ensuring that we share the activities one day before the session, and we did it last night. I hope you received from your coordinator, and you already have those activities. So the facilitator will have a very easy time because you already have the activities and you have gone through them. So as we run, ensure that you participate actively in the group activities, because this also will be a kind of assessment, because there is a place where you will indicate what you contributed to the group. So don't remain silent when you are called upon to go for group work. Go for group work and participate. Take the role of being a secretary or the chair. If you are not, ensure that you contribute and you note down somewhere what you contributed. So any one of you should take lead as soon as possible when you get to the breakout rooms, and this will help in minimizing time wastage. In case you have any concern, because you will find that as we train, we will be muting you, you can use the chat box. When one facilitator is facilitating, the other one is going through the chat box and responding to your concerns. Also then ensure you visit the KEMI virtual campus daily. In your first session, you were taught how to use the virtual campus. So you ensure that every day you visit the virtual campus and fill the reflective journals, because those are the ones that are being marked, and marks will be awarded from whatever you are feeling in those reflective journals. I also believe you were taught in your first session how to fill the reflective journals, and I also will mention it today during the assessment framework. And then attempt all activities so as to be able to internalize your learning. And then also, we will be giving extended learning activities because you find that although the lesson is supposed to go up to the afternoon, we might not be able to go up to afternoon. So in the afternoon, you will do the extended learning activities. You can even discuss with your colleagues on WhatsApp. Then the notes and all resources will be available on the virtual campus. That is at the end of the day. You will be required to visit the virtual campus, and that is where you will find all the resources, all the notes. And we have been instructed not to share the notes on WhatsApp so that we encourage you to visit the virtual campus. So ensure you visit the virtual campus and find the notes and all the resources there. So also you are required to pay fees. You know that the module 1 was costing 6,000, as you were explained to during induction, and even now it is still 6,000. So take it upon yourself to pay your fees according to the agreed upon instrument. I want to welcome you to the first session. The first session today. And I would like to share the screen. So today we are going to look at the 3 sessions, that is assessment framework, and then comprehensive school health, and lastly, emotional health. And I will start by looking at the Tpd assessment framework. And this is all about how Tpd will be assessed. And we find that this Tpd assessment framework, it applies to teachers and also the heads of institutions in primary, in secondary, and also in tertiary institutions. So to successfully complete a chapter, you are supposed to complete 3 assignments, and the 3 assignments account for 40% of the annual Tpd score. Those 3 main assignments, we have the reflective learning journal, which I've said that you start writing down. Start noting down what you are wondering about and whatever you shall be taught. And even after you have been taught, you will keep reflecting. So that reflective journal. Then we have the final synthesis seminar, which is a consolidation of papers, those assignments that you will be doing. And then we have the professional teaching portfolio. The professional teaching portfolio entails your progress, a collection of the progress that you are making during this Tpd journey. You will be having a portfolio whereby you will be putting your work, and then you will be guided on how you will upload the e-portfolio for marking. It will be marked and some marks will be awarded. So the 3 of them will give you 40%. Then the rest of the 40% will be obtained from the Tpad that you do in the schools. And then 20% will be obtained through other categories of providers working with TSC. For instance, I can only give an example of our diploma course, which is one of the approved courses that will be considered for the 20%. But it doesn't mean that you have to do with us. If there is another institution which has been offering professional courses that are accepted by the TSC, then you will indicate there, but that is the work of the TSC. Ours is to do the teacher professional development. Assignment on reflective learning journals. So starting from the first day, you are supposed to keep a personal learning journal, as I've said. And this is to record all the learning experiences that you will be going through. Today, before you joined this, or before we started this session, there are things that you were wondering about what we are going to learn today. You should have already written them down. And then even now, as we are learning, you can write down what you will be taught, and what will be going on in your mind. So journals should be a critical consideration of your learning experiences, and it will be in relation to the class discussions, the presentation, and also the personal readings that you might read. You realize that we have given you activities, and when we put you in the discussion groups, there are the discussions that you will have. So the reflections should be in relation to those discussions. Again, there are the presentations that we will be making. Like now, this presentation that I'm making, you can also reflect on it and see the new things that you are learning. And also personal reading. You will also be required to read further about what we are learning, and then also you reflect on that in those journals. So each journal entry, it should include aspects of what you did, and then what was observed, again what you learned, what you questioned, what you felt. That is about everything that was taught. And we are giving you some guiding points which you could use, questions that you can use to guide you when doing those reflective journals. That is what I learned as a teacher, if you are a teacher. If you are an instructional leader, instructional leaders are the principals, the head teachers. I know we have them on board even today. We even have the chief principals on board. We are calling them as instructional leaders. So what also you will learn during the process of this facilitation. And then what you still wonder about, even after you have been taught, there are some things that you might not even understand. Those questions that you might still be wondering about, what you could maybe want to be to learn more. And then what I need to learn, what do you need to learn yourself about that area that will be facilitated on. So we have Sean 1983 who gave two types of reflections which will guide us in our reflections. And these two types of reflection, one is during and the other one is after an activity. So, or event. So we can carry out reflection during the activity and also after the activity. So according to Sean 1983, you can do the reflection as the session is taking place, those things that are coming through your mind. And then even after the lesson has ended, you can reflect on what you were taught. So reflection, those two types of reflection, the first is reflection in action. And this reflection in action is when you are thinking about, reflecting while you are in an activity. So when you are in an activity and you are reflecting on what is happening. So reflection in action also you can simplify and say it is taking note of thinking and actions as they are occurring. Then here, some reflection include what you are experiencing, what you are thinking about, and even what you are thinking about what to do next, and acting straight away. So you take note of things and action as they are occurring and making immediate adjustments as events unfold. So as you are being taught, you reflect. Then reflection on action. Here you can do reflect on action once the activity has finished based on what you can remember about it. So after you have been taken through the session and we have finished, then you have gone back to your place of work. Then what you can remember, you reflect about it, and then once the activity has finished, based on what you can remember, you carry out reflection. So here, you try to remember what you are taught, and then you retrieve what you can recall. So you reflect and understand what has happened, and then you learn from the experiences. So it is thinking about something that has happened. And then think of what you can do differently next time. In short, we can say it's like you look back on the running, and you look back and you learn from the experience, or after you have learned from the experience, then this experience can affect the future. For example, after you have been taught, you have learned what things are supposed to be done, then this can affect what will happen in the future. When you start practicing this, I believe you will be able to internalize it. So how do you go about writing a reflection? How do you go about writing reflectively, or how do you go about writing a reflective journal? So before the experience, you think about the things that could have happened. Then you think about the things that could have been a challenge, and the things that you can do to prepare for these experiences. And then, so this is the reflection that you do before you have the experience. Then during the experience, observe what is happening at the moment. For example, the discussions that are taking place. And then as you listen, you reflect. So observe what is happening at the moment as you make particular decision. You see whether is it working out as expected. The challenges that you mentioned in the beginning, are they being dealt with? And then, is there anything you should do? Is there anything that you should do, you should say or think to make the experience successful? Then after the experience, you describe your thoughts immediately. After a narrator, when you have emotional distance from the event, after the event has, after you are through, for example, with the session, then you start thinking and reflecting on what you are taught. So is there anything you would do differently now that you have been taught about this? Or what are the takeaways from the experience, from the lessons that you were taught? If you are a teacher, are you going to do them differently? If you are an instructional leader, has the training that you have gone through enabled you to do those things differently? So here we have a reflective cycle by Gibbs. And in this reflective cycle, it starts with the case whereby an individual describes what happened. Then what were you thinking and feeling during the process of learning? Those are the feelings. Then after the feelings, we go to evaluation. What was good and bad about the experience, or what went wrong during the session and what went well during that session? Then he talked about analysis. What sense can you make of this situation? For example, after you have been taught, what sense can you make out of what you were taught? Then we have the conclusion about what else could you have done, or what could you have done better as a participant? And then the action plan. If it arose again, what would you do? And the cycle continues. Then again, you start with description of what happened. So in summary, reflective journal assessment, we have a rubric for those who have been dealing with the CBC, especially those who are in primary schools. You know about rubrics. And I also believe that in session 1, you were taught about rubrics. And we are also going to use rubrics as a way of assessing the teachers and the instructional leaders. Therefore, this is like a marking scheme, which we are going to give you before, so that you know what we are going to be looking at. So the reflective journal assessment rubric, it has a criteria. It has descriptors of the highest quality.
Excuse me, Madam Rebecca.
Yes.
Participants are requesting if you can increase the font.
The font.
Yes, if you can increase the font, try, so that as they are seeing, they are not able to see some of the displayed information.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me try.
That's better now, madam.
Okay. So I was saying that this is the marking scheme that the facilitators will be using to mark your journals. So you should be able to see, so that you're able to write your journals in line in this rubric, because this is what they will expect. For example, what I learned. In what you will learn, this is an overview that you will write of what you will have learned on a personal and professional basis. That is about the content that we will cover. For instance, in, for example, comprehensive school health, after you have been taught, you will go to your to the virtual campus, and you will write the reflection on what you learned about the comprehensive school health or at a personal level, and also the content that was trained in that chapter. And it should be insightful, and you should outline what has been uncovered, what you didn't know, what you discovered through various experiences, through the readings and the activities that you will be engaged in. And that just explaining that will earn you 5 marks. Then what you are still wondering about, if it's about that comprehensive school health, what are you still wondering about? So you deeply reflect. Yeah, you still can be critical, you can question the questions that are arising, that remain at the end of the chapter. unanswered you also mention. And this also will earn you 5 marks. Then what I need, again, you deeply reflect. You should also be critical, question. And then you raise questions that are, again, remain unanswered about that chapter and could maybe require to be covered again. And this also will earn you some 5 marks. So at the end of every section, the facilitator will give an overall comment. The facilitator will give an overall comment and also award you total marks out of 15. Then we have the scoring of that rubric. How will the rubric be scored? Again, I'm saying that those who are in CBC have an experience about these rubrics, and this is how we will score. This is how we will score. We will have the criteria or the task that you have done, whereby we have the descriptors, where we have the approaching expectation, met expectation, exceeding expectation, and always scoring starts from 3, that is meeting expectation. Then we have those who will have done the reflective journals excellently. They will be graded as exceeding expectation, depending on how they explain whatever they are explaining. As they reflect, they will be scored as 4 and the highest as 5. Then those who will not have met expectation will be scored as 1 and 2, which is in approaching expectation. So either in the what I have run, it has a weight of 5, but we find that there are those who will not have run a lot. If you have just run one thing, then you might not be able to acquire the full mark. What am I still wondering about also? It will be scored again, and what I need to learn will also be scored. So we are saying that those criterion descriptors of TPD 4 and 5 for those participants who will have done the best, or they describe not only what they know, but also they show commitment in applying the knowledge. They will explain what they have learned and even explain what they will do with that knowledge. Those people will be scored between 4 and 5 because of that aspect of application. So as you do your reflections, as you talk about what you have learned, also take a step further and explain how you will use that knowledge. TPD points 3 will be given to those people who will have brought out the aspect of knowledge they have acquired and maybe an element of application. But they will not have done that in an innovative manner. So they will be scored 3. Then we have those who will score 1 and 2. These are the ones that they will just bring out the aspect of knowledge that they have acquired, but they have no application, and they also do not have the innovative aspects of it. So we find that these people will be scored 1 and 2. That is approaching expectation. 3, those who will bring out the aspect of knowledge only, they will have met expectation. Those who will be scored as 4 to 5, which is exceeding expectation, are those who will have displayed the knowledge that they have acquired, the application of that knowledge, and they will have done it in an innovative manner.
Madam Rebecca.
Yes.
Before you move on,
Yes, please.
Participants want you to clarify what waiting means. Maybe you can you can tell them something about what waiting means, and they also want you to give them some examples, like you have said. Those ones will score between 4 and 5. You have explained, but some still maybe will need some clarification with an example. Thank you.
Yes, maybe Vincent, you could have some input there.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Get back to the slide then.
Yes, I'm there.
Fine. Now it's okay. Now for the participants, you have to know that all these exercise, all these activities you are doing are important, and as much as they are important, there are some which are looked at to be a score or to have a lot of weight, or they have a lot of emphasis. So when we talk of weighting, it is the weight that is given to that particular activity. Now, like, for example, you can see activity 1, what I have learned, it is 5 marks. And this 5 marks is given a weight of 1. So in the event you score 5 out of 5, the weighting there will be 1. But in the event you score less than 5, the weight will reduce from 1. Whatever you have scored will be looked upon against the weight of 1. So it will be less than 1. Now, if you go to the second activity, you see the weight is 2, meaning one who scores 5 out of 5 in the second activity, what I'm still wondering about, this one has a lot of weight because it is looked at, it is an activity that broadens the outward look of the teacher as far as that activity is concerned. It makes the teacher get grounded. It makes the teacher have a further interaction or thinking wide of that activity he has undergone or undertaken. So one who scores 5 will get a weight of 2. One who scores 5 in the other one will get a weight of 1. So it is just the importance attached on a given activity. That is what I can say about the weighting. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Rebecca.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent, for that input. I believe they have addressed, you have explained it very well. And unless they have another question, we can continue with assessment on professional teaching.
Yeah, just continue.
Okay. So again, I believe we have been doing portfolios in those who are handling CBC, but now this portfolio is for you as a teacher or as an instructional leader. And the portfolio is intended to contribute to and also reflect participants' professional growth and professional growth and learning. So you are supposed to explore how professional portfolio can enable us to make conscious decisions and also to articulate who we are as educators, also what we do and why we do it. Professional portfolios is a work in progress. It is a work in progress, and it will be shared in class and then submitted for evaluation at the end of the chapter. So as we progress, you will keep on doing a collection of your work, what you are learning, and then you will put it inside that portfolio. You will be required to share in class, and then you will also submit the same for evaluation. And the basis of evaluation will be based on teaching philosophy and beliefs about the learners, will be central to the portfolio. Then the artifacts, you should ensure that whatever you put in that portfolio, the artifacts are well organized in the required sections and also well labeled. Then the selection of the artifacts also will show the professional growth over the year. Then these reflections, they will show the evidence of thoughtfulness, also the self-assessment and the learning in relation to the knowledge that you have acquired, the skills that you have acquired, and also the attitudes that you have acquired. So all these should be put in your portfolios. And in your WhatsApp groups, you will be sent for an example of an e-portfolio, which will act as a guide for you so that you're able to prepare an e-portfolio, which you will post for marking. But as I've said, it is just a collection of your work, because it is usually a collection of learners' work. Now, it will not be the students in class, the ones that you teach. It is now what you will be running in the TPD, the collection of your work, the best work or the artifacts that you will have. You put them in that portfolio, and maybe you will be required to share in your e-portfolio, and you will submit for marking. I would like to welcome Vincent again. Maybe he has a contribution that he could make about these portfolios. Vincent. Vincent, is there anything that you could add about the portfolios? Maybe he's a bit busy, but now the assignment, final synthesis seminar, consolidation of papers. This one will entail the presentation that we make in class. The presentations that you will be making in class, for example, when you go for group work, and even consolidated papers after you have done the assignments, there's those marks that will be given. So the marks will be consolidated together, and you will be given a mark on this. So we are saying that class participation is important. Also ensure that the activities that you are given, you do them. And again, the reflective journaling, you are supposed to do them. The readings, the extra reading that you do also will be very important. Again, sometimes you might do an action research, and also feedback from others. After you have made a presentation, there is the feedback that you get from others. Therefore, based on what, for example, you may have such a question, based on what I have learned about who I am as an educator person, what is my practice and the context of the classroom learning, what kind of educator am I in the process of becoming or being. The criteria that will be used to assess the presentation is how you organize your presentation. And again, that is the presentation of the final synthesis. How do you organize it? And also when doing the presentation, the ability to explain. And are you able to give examples? Are you able to give activities? And those activities, are they enhancing the understanding of what you have learned? For example, from the chapter that you will be taught. I'm giving an example of, for example, the comprehensive school health. When doing the presentation, the criteria will be your ability to, for example, to explain, to give examples, and the activities to enhance the understanding. Also, the ability to make connection between the chapter content and how to apply it in the classroom, in the real classroom, and then how you intend to apply the knowledge, the skills, and also the attitudes that you will have acquired. So we are saying the scoring of the Tpd program, you are required to undertake and successfully complete one module. And that one module, we said in the beginning during induction that it comprises of 5 chapters, and this will be done within 5 years so that the final score will be computed. So, and as we have said earlier, we are saying that the Tpd scoring will be from 3 sources. The first source is the service providers will first of all submit the analyzed performance of each and every teacher in Kenya. Of each and every teacher they trained through this TSC online platform, we will submit your marks. Then on the other side, TSC, that is the commission, will analyze the Tpd rating as they usually do. And they will award you the Tpd marks. Then we also said that we have some marks from other professional courses that you do from other service providers. For example, I give an example of the Diploma in Education Management module that you do in KEMI can be an example. So that is how the scoring of Tpd program will be. This is a summary of the deliverables. Full participation in teacher performance appraisal, that is the TPAD that you do in school, you will be awarded 40 marks. The 40 marks. And then the other 40 marks will come from this module, the Tpd module. And this 40 marks is spread as follows. We have the reflective journal. We have 15 marks from the reflective journal. Then part 2, the participants read synthesis seminar, that is the presentations that you will be making, 10 marks. And the third part is the individual professional portfolio, that is the collection of your own work. You will be scored 15. So that is the one that is giving us a total of 40 marks, 15 plus 10, which is 25 plus 15 will give us 40 marks. Then lastly, The last 20 will come from the teacher training programs offered by other providers. And I'm keeping on giving you the example of the professional course that we offer, that is Diploma in Education Management. So you are being encouraged, apart from whatever we are offering, the TPD, and even the performance appraisals that you do at school, you're also required to do other professional courses. So this one does not stop you from undergoing other courses, and those courses should be professional courses, and those courses should be by providers that are working with the commission, so that you're able to score 20 marks. And this will give you a total of 100%. And this is the mark that will help you to renew the teaching license. So I would like at this point to welcome Vincent Okweba, if there are any contributions that you would want to make.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, madam.
Yes. Unmute yourself, Vincent.
Okay, I believe now you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Now, on the scoring that you have taken them through, I would like them to understand that this Tpid is mandatory for them to be graded, because you will realize, as indicated here, you can see we have the full participation in teacher performance appraisal development, which is 40%, and then the prescribed modules, which is 40%, then reflective 15%, and others as indicated, which will total up to 100%. But I would want the participants to understand clearly, if you do not undertake Tpid, this one of the modules, the prescribed module like the one we are now undertaking, even if you score in the other areas, you will not be graded. So they should know that Tpd modules are mandatory for one to be scored. Thank you. That's the input I can add.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Do you have any question? If you have a question, you can raise your hand. I will unmute you. We'll try to address your question. Yes, Patrick Doro, I want to unmute you. Ask your question. Patrick Doro, unmute yourself.
So good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning, Patrick.
Yes, I have this question on the virtual campus.
Mm-hmm.
The credentials, those who register either last week or this week, we are not able to get our virtual campus credentials. What will be the way forward for us? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Okay, Patrick, you will be enrolled from our side. The enrollment is going on. For those who have who registered last week, we will make a follow-up and ensure that you have been enrolled so that you are able to use the credentials. I hope you can still remember the credentials. Are you able to remember them? Doro? You have left. Where are you?
But muted. Let him unmute.
Yes, Patrick. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Now,
Remember them? Can you remember the password? Remind them password.
the credential should be TPD1. Then the year that is 20. Are we supposed to use 2021 or 2022?
You will use 2021.
All right. And then we are, you see, we have not been given the one. So I don't know how soon it will be out.
Okay, it will be communicated with the WhatsApp group. You are in the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Yes. I will talk to your coordinator so that you are enrolled as soon as possible so that you are able to access. So the password, you remind them. It is
Yes.
TPD1, but it is in small
letters.
In small letters, TPD1 stroke 2021 stroke the county code. Kitui county code is what?
15.
15, and then the stroke TSC number.
Yes.
Yes, and the same one, they will use it as their
password.
User. That is the password in small letter. Then
Yes.
the username is the same number but in capital.
Yes.
So for those who are already accepting it, you will be guiding your other colleagues. So thank you for that question.
Yes.
We could have another question. Mercy, unmute yourself.
Yes. I was asking.
Yes.
During the other assignment, during TPD session 1, the assignment we were doing, they could show that some are getting 40 marks, 18 marks, others are getting 100. What did that one mean?
Okay, the marking of the assignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What I've given you now.
Yes.
What I've given you now is the prescribed way of marking those modules.
Yes.
And we will talk amongst ourselves and see those who had already marked how they are going to ensure that they follow this so that it will be uniform for all teachers in Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for that, Mercy.
Thank you.
Yes. So it is 10 a.m. and the comprehensive school health is a bit wide. We are going to do it for 2 hours from 10 to 12. I hope my colleague Vincent, you are ready?
Yes, I'm ready, madam.
I want to stop sharing so that you can start sharing.
Yes,
at some
please.
point, you will give us a health break. If you want us to go now, we can go and then come back, but you will give us direction. Thank you very much, Vincent, and welcome.
Thank you. Hello, madam.
Hello, Vincent.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
You are seeing my screen, huh?
Yes.
Fine. Members, I would like us to start briefly. Then after we have started, I will give you a break. Then once we come from break, you will now get to your groups for the discussion of what I will have shared. So just hold on. We want to start, then thereafter I'll give you a break. So our next discussion is comprehensive school health and safety. Now, some of you are wondering why comprehensive school health and safety to be our discussion. But you are all aware as teachers, you are only able to deliver to that learner who is healthy. So if the learner is not healthy, or if the environment is not advocating for health-related issues, we may not achieve. So even our current constitution, the Kenyan Constitution of 2010, has emphasized the issue of compulsory education. So if you have looked at the constitution, Article 43, 43 Part 1 recognizes that every person has a right to education. In addition to that article, still in the same Constitution of 2010, Article 53 Part 1 affirms that every child has a right to free and compulsory education. Now, a learner, because it's a right to free and compulsory education, then it means the learner must be healthy, and the environment where the learning is taking place must also be conducive, and the standards of the environment must be towards ensuring that the learner will be in a comfortable situation to learn. If not, then you'll find that we are falling behind or contrary to the provision of the Constitution of the right to education. So that's why high standards of health, clean and healthy learning environment, accessible to reasonable standards of sanitation, freedom from hunger, and adequate food quality is necessary or a prerequisite in our schools, and that's why this health and safety is important. Now, this discussion, you are expected at the end of it all to be able to understand the concept of health and health literacy skills, social determinants of health, and what we mean by comprehensive school health. When we are talking of comprehensive school health, at the end of it all, you should be able to understand. Then you should be able to demonstrate the basic skills of handling life-saving measures in school. As you are aware, in our schools where we have learners in school more days of the year than they are at home. So we should be well capacity built on handling issues to do with the life-saving. Supposing a learner collapses, what are we supposed to do as teachers? Supposing a learner gets injured during play, what are we supposed to do? So those are the skills this discussion is supposed to capacity build you with. Then you need also to have skills and competency in a comprehensive school health. As teachers, as administrators in our respective schools, we need to take audit of our school environment and be able to say whether the school is safe. We do a comprehensive school audit and be able to determine whether the school is safe for the learners. Then the learning environment. Once you are through with this learning, we expect you to have a learning environment in our respective schools or in our respective classes, in our respective lessons that is responsive to the physical, social, emotional, cultural, and learning needs of all learners. As we have seen, education is a basic right and it's compulsory. So how do we make the environment to be conducive and responsive to the learners' needs so that they are able to enjoy and benefit out of the learning exercise? Now, in this chapter, we will be looking at the following concepts that are related to comprehensive school health and safety. One, we will look at health and health education. Then we'll also look at health literacy. We'll need to understand what do we mean by health literacy and why is it important. Then the concept of school emergencies and safety. Then management of injuries. We will be able to identify and isolate common injuries that we experience in our schools and discuss ways in which we can manage those injuries. At the same time, emergencies in our learning institutions, which are the common emergencies in our learning institutions, and how best can we manage those emergencies when they do occur. And then lastly, we'll be looking at fire safety. We know in the recent past, fire has been a common occurrence and scenario in our schools, and we will need to look at it in a wider perspective so that we are able to understand how do we go about it when it occurs in our schools. So you are all aware, the young ones, those ones who are between the age, say, of 4 to about 18 or 19, they stay most of the time in school. Most of the time they are in school. And it is in school where they are socializing with others, playing with others, learning with others. So this environment, the school environment, is as an essential environment for the young people, because that's virtually where they spend most of their time. So the social emotional skills, and from being in those environments, they are able to acquire, one, they will acquire knowledge that they learn in class. Then they are also able to acquire social emotional skills, because when they interact with their peers, when they play, that interaction enables them to acquire socio-emotional skills, which include self-regulation and resilience, and even critical thinking skills that will provide the foundation for a healthy future. As you know, a learner or somebody develops gradually, and the type of development one acquires is determined mainly by the environment in which that person is growing up or is being socialized up. So if it is a stable environment, you will find the person coming out stable, and he'll be able to even self-regulate, and he'll have resilience, and the challenges or the encounters he faces in that socialization will develop him or will help him or her acquire critical thinking skills. Then access to education and safe and supportive school environment have been linked to better health outcomes. When one accesses education, and this education is in a safe and supportive school environment, this person comes out a better person health-wise, because he will have social stability, emotional stability, and even intellectual stability. So good health is linked to reduced dropout rates and greater educational attainment, educational performance, employment, and productivity. You will agree with me, when learners are in good health, they are bound to attend schools throughout the days they are expected to be in schools, unlike when a learner is not healthy. One who is not healthy will miss schools when he is sick, maybe he's going to attend to a doctor or something of that kind, and that one will reduce even the educational attainment, because he misses out on learning instruction at that time when he is not well. Research has also shown that learners who are healthy and are able to undertake their education, the output is high, and even when it goes down to employment, their productivity in employment is also high, because they are healthy and they are stable and well positioned and grounded to perform the tasks that they are expected to perform. Those ones of us who are in schools that have been doing school-based deworming, you remember under school-based deworming, there is a research that was done, and out of that research, it was able to identify learners who are free of worms when they were followed along their learning and even eventually their working life. Those learners who are free of worms were found to be more productive even after school when they are now in employment, as compared to those learners who suffered worm infestation at the lower age. So that's why good health is important in our schools and to our learners. Now, the learning outcomes. As we learn those that have taken you through, we expect an outcome. So these learning outcomes that we expect from you is you are supposed to demonstrate understanding of the concept of comprehensive school health. Once we go through this discussion, as a participant, you should be able to clearly articulate what is comprehensive school health. You should be able to appreciate the importance of health and health education in our schools. And lastly, you should be able to apply skills for maintaining emotional health and managing stress. I believe you are all aware stress is a very big challenge, and if not well managed, it leads to very catastrophic incidences like suicide and such like issues. So that's why it is very important we start at an early stage on giving these learners a stable emotional background so that they are stable as they grow up, and they'll be able to manage stress-related issues in life. Now, we have an activity. What I wanted after that introduction is I wanted to give you a break. Then once we get back from the break, we shall go to the activity. We shall go to our breakout rooms for the activity that is displayed on the screen. Now, I want your engagement. How long should our break take? Can it take 15 minutes? Madam Rebecca, how long do you think the break should take?
Yes, they can come back at 10:30.
15 minutes. So
yes.
We shall be back at 10:30. So I would allow you to go for break. Then we shall be back at 10:30. When we come back, we shall now take you to groups for a 5 or so minutes discussion. Then you will come back to share in the plenary your discussions. So I can allow you now to go for a break. Let us get back at 10:30 to our class.
So participants, let's go for a break. You can have some tea and then come back. We'll continue up to 1. Thank you.
Hello, members. I hope you are back. And we are going to go straight to plenary. We share your discussions. We are going to start with the group 10. The secretary of group 10, kindly take us through what you discussed. Group 10, are you there? Hello, Madam Rebecca, am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, group 10. It's like a group. Group 8. If 10, we shall come back to you. You can organize yourself as we are. Group 8 is presenting. After group 8, we'll come back to you. Group 8.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Ryle in group 8. I was the secretary.
Yes, Ryle.
Yes, we have said in the first question, why do schools exist? We have said a school is a place where learners converge to learn.
Mhm.
Because we cannot teach the pupils at home.
Mhm.
So we have schools where they meet and then the teachers can.
Yes.
We also talked about.
Samson Njiru, just a minute. Samson Njiru, please don't mute yourself so that you don't interfere. Continue, Madam Rael.
Yes, we have also said that a school is a place whereby we have to do the purpose of education. It is mainly purposed for the education of all the learners.
Mhm.
We have also
Madam Rael, we are losing you. Rael, are you still with us? Yes.
Hello, am I heard now?
Yeah, now you are heard. Go on.
Yeah, we have. I was talking about the point that it is a place where the learners are nurtured on their talents, different talents. We have also talked about it is a place where the learners get to know and get their skills and have knowledge.
Yes.
We then from there we went to question number 2, whereby we now talked about the purpose of education. And then we said the purpose of education is to improve the social well-being of the learners. It is also for the purpose of empowering learners. Yes, education will empower learners. When they get education, they will get job afterwards, and they will be financially able to be better people in the society. Talk about that it is through education whereby the learners or the learned people will get employed and be people who are better in their society and can do good things, and they can improve their society. We say that it is also gives better health outcomes, because a learned person will understand about the hygiene and everything else as pertains. We also talked about that people for labor. When we look at 2030, education is the one that brings out better careers for the learners, educated people. And then the last question, we talked about
Mute those people.
we talked about holistic development, the whole development of a learner or person. Hello.
Vincent, there's a lot of interference.
Yes, there is a lot of Can you mute all of them from your end, Madam Rebecca?
Yes, please. Hello.
Hello, continue.
Yes, we now talked about the holistic development, whereby we talked it is the whole development, the whole growth of a learner, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all that. And we said, for example, physical is whereby the learners grow their motor skills as they play, as they walk here and there, as they jump. The learner develop physically. And we also talked of emotional development. We also talked of spiritual development. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, am I heard? There is interference.
Erastus, you are interfering with our lesson.
Yes, please. I can.
Rael, unmute yourself. Rael, unmute and finish up. Rael, unmute yourself. I can see some hands up. There is Jen Munyu. Jen Munyu, your hand is up. Unmute and tell us what you have. Then we have Munyiva. Munyiva, your hand is up. Or they are not aware. Okay, Munyiva, you have unmuted. Tell us what you wanted to say. Munyu, tell us what you wanted to say. You have unmuted now.
My screen is blank.
Are you getting any sound?
Yes.
If you are getting any sound, just check your connections. So long as you are getting, currently I'm not sharing my screen, so don't worry about if it is blank. So long as you are hearing what we are discussing.
Okay.
Munyiva,
And again, I don't know my group.
did you participate in any group or you remain in the plenary?
I am not. I don't know my group.
The
So
question
I did
is, did you participate in any group discussion?
No, because I was not in any group.
You did not click join. You decided to remain in the plenary. You were to click on join for you to be taken to your group. But if you did not click on join, then you remained in the plenary.
Okay.
Quickly, Mulonza, your hand is up. Can you unmute and yes?
Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm Christine Malonza from Group 9. And really we had a lot of talent because of the background noise. But this is what we have came up with. Whereby we are saying the holistic...
I don't want the Group 9 to present because you presented in the other one. Just hold on. Rael was to finish. Rael was finishing up. Then we get to the next group. Rael, are you getting me?
Okay.
Rael of Group 8. Rael of Group 8. Rael, we seem to have lost Rael. Now that Malonza, you are ready, can you go on? If you can skip what Rael had shared and share with us additional points that Rael did not capture. Go on, Christine Malonza. Christine.
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
We have talked about why schools exist, and they have said the schools is whereby the education takes place, whereby all the learners, they converge to get education on the knowledge about the education. The other one, you have also talked about whereby they come to be nurtured, their talents, and they can also come to socialize because they interact with many peoples from different categories or different areas. Then the purpose of education, we have said that it can improve their social well-being of those learners. It can also empower them to get more, to get employment in different sectors in our country, because one of them, they can be doctors, others teachers, others many people. The purpose of education also, it will impart knowledge to the learners for better careers, which it can help them in the future. That is what I have captured, though we had a lot of noise. That's why we could not capture more. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 9. And group members, we shouldn't be having challenges of noise because at this level, you should know that you are supposed to mute when you are not presenting so that you avoid interference. Let us go to Group 4. Group 4. Group 4, are you there? Members of Group 4? Group 10, are you now ready to present, members of Group 10? If you are the secretary of the groups I've mentioned, you simply click on your microphone, you unmute, and then I'll be able to give you time to present your discussion. Elizabeth Macau. Elizabeth Macau, I'm seeing your hand up. Unmute and either present or tell us what you have.
Thank you.
Yes, Elizabeth.
Yes, I am the secretary in Group 4.
Yes.
Question 1.
Mm-hmm.
Why schools exist?
Yes.
To give a child the chance to acquire knowledge and skills,
Mm-hmm.
and the right attitude and values in life.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the purpose of education in the society.
Mm-hmm.
To develop a whole child socially, emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
To prepare the child for job market.
Mm-hmm.
To give.
Elizabeth, we are not getting you. Elizabeth, we have lost you.
Unmute me. Hello.
Elizabeth, you are unmuted. You are not muted.
Oh, is it Elizabeth Mukonza?
Elizabeth Mweni Macau.
Oh, sorry. This is Mukonza.
Mukonza, you are from which group?
Group 4.
Okay, continue. Then continue.
Okay, the third point was on holistic development of a child.
Mm-hmm.
We said the child is able to grow intellectually, mentally, emotionally upright on his or her holistic development. I think that was our last point.
Thank you, Group 4, for that discussion. Let us go to Group 6. Group 6. I'm seeing Abigail Mwango. Abigail? Francis? Pauline?
Yes.
Which group? You have muted yourself. Unmute. Pauline, unmute. Pauline? Yes, continue.
Yes.
Which group?
Group 10.
Group 10. Go ahead.
Yes, this is what we discussed for question 1.
Mm-hmm.
We said that schools exist to help learners pursue their potential in academic development. Schools also help the learners to get knowledge and have health social life. Schools also help the learners to develop the right attitudes in life. For question 2, most of the groups that have presented before us have said the points we had, but I have one additional point that education helps to equip learners with the skills and knowledge to help them coexist in the society.
Thank you.
For question 3, we said that holistic development of learners is the growth of the learners in all aspects of life that includes socially, academically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and also economically through the skills that are learned at school. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 10. Group 6. Group 6, are you there? Group 6. Anybody of group 6? Unmute and go ahead. Secretary.
I was the chair. Where is the secretary?
Yeah.
Secretary, are you there?
Yeah, I was a member and I have the point. It's
Okay.
not there.
All right. Continue.
Okay. I wasn't the secretary, but I have the points for group 6.
Go ahead, go ahead. Let us save on time.
Question 1, why do schools exist? We responded by saying that schools exist so that they can provide knowledge, skills, and the positive attitudes to the learners. Then question 2, what is the purpose of education in the society? Our response there was the purpose of education in a society is to equip the learners with the right competencies, that is knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will help them in the development of the society. Then question number 3, what the holistic child is. We said that it is involving the social development, emotional, physical, intellectual, and the spiritual development of the learners. That is what we had for our book. Thank you.
Thank you, all of members, for your discussion.
Ukandunge.
You will allow us to move for the interest of time. At least we have got what you discussed, and I'm happy that
Unmute yourself, Mr. Vincent.
yes, okay, fine. So let us look at wrap up our discussion. We were looking at why schools exist. And as I was listening to your presentation on the plenary, you got it right, because you are able to mention various aspects of a school. As you can see, schools basically exist to facilitate the development of a whole child, socially, emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually. If you look at our definition or our explanation, it is in totality. We have not said a school exists so that a child can pass exam. So when we as educators narrow the picture, and we look at school as only passing exam, we lose the point, because that's now the moment as teachers we start having a focus just of passing exam through hook or crook, because that is the only focus we are looking at. But if we looked at it in its totality, where we are looking at the development of a whole child, is the school enabling, is the school giving the child an enabling environment for the child to develop socially, to develop emotionally, to develop physically, intellectually, and spiritually? If we were able to address that broad aspect of a school, then we would be home and dry, and issues of even thinking of exam stealing, exam cheating will not be there, because that is not what a school exists for. Now, in order for children to succeed and reach their full potential, for these all aspects that we are talking of must be given attention. And that is why, if we lose out on some of the aspects, when we narrow down to just one aspect of exam, then we lose focus on the others. You find that the product we eventually produce is not a full-baked product, because it will not be able to survive in the market. You have seen this happening where we have A students when they leave high school and they get to university, they get lost up because they were not emotionally developed. They were not spiritually developed. So for a child to succeed and reach their full potential, these 4 areas, we must look at them in totality as people who are in education, as people who are nurturing the young ones, and especially at that crucial stage when their development is supposed to be at the optimum level. So the physical development is about just the learner growing, because that one comes with age. As you wake up every morning, you are increasing in height. The learner will be increasing in height because he is growing. The physical structure is growing. So at that level, the learner needs to develop the motor skills. We need to have the learner developing motor skills that will enable him or her attain the full physical development that is expected out of a child. Then we have social skills. This is how people interact, how people communicate, how people interact with the environment. Those are very important skills that a school is supposed to impart into the learner. How is he able to communicate and interact with the environment? And as he learns that, the learner will be able, even after school, when he gets out of school, in any environment he gets in, he'll be able to communicate and interact and get his or her way through. Emotional development. This is how do learners learn how to express their emotion in a healthy way. Are they learners who at a small instance, they break down, start crying? Or are they at a small instance, they start throwing tantrums or tempers? Those are the things that a school should help a learner develop emotionally, so that he has a balanced emotion, not an emotion where the learner, any small slight thing, he starts crying and he cries the whole day and is not able to learn, or throws tantrums. Things of that kind shows that the level of emotional development of that child is not right. Then we have the intellectual development. This is to do with the creativity or the cognitive, that is acquiring the creativity, the cognitive ability, the learning skills, where a learner is able to perform given tasks in given subject areas. That is cognitive development. Then we have spiritual development. This is very important. And this is where, in most cases, our country, we have lost on this. We are a Christian nation, yes, but when we look at our values, are we inculcating in our learners the Christian values? And if we are inculcating in them these values, are they carrying them out as they go out in the society? Now, as teachers, as we interact with the learners, are we walking the talk of these values? Because, you know, you will not just tell the learners about values, but when they look at us as teachers, they don't see those values in us. They don't take them serious because they know even the teacher is not practicing them. So this building of morals, values, and caring for the world is very important. So all these 5 components are fundamental in learners' well-being. A learner who misses out in these 5 aspects, even if he is good in one aspect, say intellectual, but he misses out on the other aspects, that learner will not realize the full potential. We have seen even some learners who are talented, that is under physical development, they are talented, they are very good in sports, but now you find that the environment fails to inculcate in them other aspects. And then you find the learner, because of discipline, that talent of his or hers cannot take the learner anywhere, because he becomes indisciplined, and due to indiscipline, he falls out of the development, or the full potential development of the talent. So the 5 aspects are very important. as teachers, as people in education, we must always ensure our learners are getting exposed or are developing wholesomely. That is holistic development. Now you can see the Venn diagram we are having, where all the five aspects have been captured for holistic health, which enables a person to truly live each day in the healthiest, happiest way possible. And if one area is compromised, most likely the others will be compromised. So we need to, for holistic health, we need to be physically fit, emotionally fit, mentally well, socially well, and also spiritually well. So mainly, that is what was coming out in our discussions. And as we discuss this as teachers and people in education, let us also have a reflection back in our schools. Let us have a reflection on the learners we handle. Are we nurturing these learners holistically? Are we meeting this threshold, or we are missing out on some points? If we are missing out on some points, that is the importance of this training, so that we can go back and recollect and pick up where we may be losing out. So entirely, that is what we discussed. Apart from that, we also looked at the purpose of education. Most of you got it right. The purpose of education is diverse, because it is through education that now all these five aspects will come out. And when you come out fully developed in these five aspects, then we'll say education has succeeded in developing somebody who will fit anywhere in the society, a person who will be productive in the society, a person who will be able to make right decisions in the society. So thank you for that. And that one calls us, if you allow, we move on to our next activity. That is activity 2, is a case study, which is already also in your WhatsApp. You already have this in your WhatsApp. So I would like us again to get back to our groups. I'm hoping the groups will remain the same, so that we get back to our groups and read this extract and discuss it very quickly. And then we come back to the plenary, then we report. Let us reduce the time instead of 10, because this is just reading an extract and then discussing the 2 points or the 2 questions. Let us reduce that 10 minutes to 7 minutes. Madam Rebecca, can you take us to our breakaway rooms? It is 11:55, 12:02, we should be back.
All right.
Welcome back, members. So we can continue. And this time round, I will call on group 2. Secretary group 2. Secretary group 2. Group 2, are you there? Group 2. Group 2 or group 6? Hello, are you there, members? Group 2, Secretary Group 2. Group 6. I can see Kawira's hand up. Edith, unmute. And
Hi, Vincent. I'm a member of Group 6. I'm sorry. Hello?
hello, Nancy, are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you now. I was experiencing some problems. I'm a member of Group 6.
Okay, go on.
We were discussing about how this lack of education has affected Mr. and Mrs. Hamisi.
Yes.
Number one is that it has led them to practice manual work, which is insufficient for to provide for their families.
Yes.
And then number two, it has made them ignorant, yani illiterate, so that they have no value for education, and that's the resistance they have against against the government directive for free compulsory basic education.
Yes.
And then there is also the ignorance also, which leads to them not being able to provide a balanced diet to their children, and that is why the children are malnourished. Again, the ignorance leads them to practice child labor. And a good example is their first child who's 10 years old, and is supposed to work with neighbors in distributing or gathering of the agricultural products.
Yes.
And then how the children suffer, like the last point, the children suffer from lack of child labor, And we were afraid for these children because we felt that they would eventually grow up and become fearful adults and engage maybe in criminal activities. And then there was also the idea of the children not being engaged in holistic education because theirs was just physical. They don't have any time to socialize with others. They don't have time for spiritual growth. They have no time for emotional growth. And because of that lack of interaction, now they now end up being people with low esteem or lack of self-awareness.
Yes.
And then, of course, the children also they are also malnourished, like we've seen, as a result of their parents' ignorance.
Yes.
And finally, we say these children also lack exposure because they are only working in their farm. They are not exposed to society.
Thank you, Group 6. Are you done, Nancy?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 6, for that fruitful deliberation. Let us get Group 2. Group 2.
Yes, Group 2, I'm Christine.
Yes, Christine, go ahead.
Yes, the secretary. So we have said that the first point is that it has affected Mr. and Mrs. Hamisi in that their ignorance led them to live below poverty level, where they are not able to provide for their family.
Anna Makasi, can you mute yourself?
It has also exposed their children. It has also exposed their children to children.
Christine, unmute yourself and continue. Christine, unmute yourself and continue. Christine, unmute.
Thank you. I come from group 9. I'm Christine Malone.
Not you, not Christine Malonza. There was Christine Mwelu who was on the floor. She was muted when they muted all of us for the interaction of noise that was coming in. Christine of Group 2, the Secretary Group 2, if you are getting me. Christine Malelu. Christine Malelu, yes, continue. You have unmuted yourself. You can continue.
Okay, I'd said that it has led to ignorance that has led them to live below poverty level where they are not able to provide for their family. And that is the reason their children are malnutritioned. It has also exposed their children to child labor, where one of the children is working at their neighbor's farm. Two, the second question, we have said that it will affect their children in that they will not be able to live a better life in future because they need education and they will not be able to interact with other people well because they will also not develop socially.
Thank you.
We also said that they see agriculture as the only way to survive while the neighbors are using it commercially, and they use their children to work for their neighbors instead of taking them to school.
Thank you. You are through?
Yeah.
Thank you, Group 2, Group 6, for that presentation. And you have brought out a very interesting discussion. And we can wrap up that discussion for the interest of time, and we continue. And as you are reading that extract and your discussion, you can see what was coming up was the importance of education. And not just education, but we are looking at that holistic development of a learner. So you have been able to point out the lack of education affects the decisions that people make, and even those of their children. You can see the family you are discussing at, they don't want their children to go to school. They want then their children are malnourished because they are ignorant about nutrition. And from the discussions that has come out, you have brought out it very clearly. When one lacks education, it is like that person is handicapped in so many other areas in the society. So you will find that because of that lack of education, even the quality of life that person leads is low because of that ignorance and the decisions they make. And then you will find that because of that lack of education, even the development, their physical or intellectual development is not harnessed. So as a result of that, these people are condemned or reduced to just manual kind of labor. And as you are all aware, we moved from agrarian revolution, industrial revolution. Right now we are in information technology revolution. So if we have moved 4 steps ahead and you remained at an agrarian level, then it means you are far behind and you may not cope up with the challenges of life. Then you will also have to understand that with education, if when one has education, it helps that person to break so many other chains, including even such like what to do with the health education, because with the education, when you are literate education-wise, you will be able to even make informed decision as far as health is concerned. Then you will also be able to understand the urgent health and social problems that have underscored the need for collaboration among families, schools, agencies, communities, and government. Because once you are educated, you are able to interact, socialize, meet people, discuss, and out of that discussion, you widen your perspective towards life. To make it also informs the decisions you make. You are bound to make a wise decision, not like the decision of this family where the father has decided the child is a child, but he should engage in child labor. Child labor will make this child not to develop physically to a full potential physically, and in future the ability or the opportunities will be limited, And these are the people who now in the future, they can easily end up getting into crime because even their social esteem, they lack social esteem and all such aspects. Then the concept of comprehensive school health, that is CHS, it's also referred to as coordinated school health. This is an approach that focuses on behaviors that contribute to health, safety, and well-being of students, staff, and families. So it is a broader aspect that focuses on behaviors that will affect the health and safety of either the students, the family members. Like you see the extracts which we are reading, here is a situation where the focus on nutrition is not there, and because of that, the children are malnourished. So they are lacking that the comprehensive school health because the aspect of nutrition has been ignored because of the ignorance. It is also important to know that school health is an internationally recognized approach that supports learning outcomes of students while addressing school health in a planned, integrated, and holistic way. What we are discussing here as comprehensive school health, it is not just a local idea. It is an internationally recognized approach which has been approved that it supports learning outcomes at the same time addressing the health in a planned and integrated way. Because as I was taking you through what we are expected to learn, you will see whatever is planned, whatever we are going to learn is planned so well and in an integrated way. And at the end of it all, it will be holistic. It will wrap the whole idea of comprehensive health of an individual. This approach supports learning outcomes of a student while addressing the health in a planned and integrated holistic way. This comprehensive school health, you will realize that it supports learning outcome because we have talked of learners who are healthy, they will learn well and they will achieve more. They will even become productive later on when they are adults. So when we are taking that approach, we are supporting learning. But at the same time as we are supporting learning, we are addressing the health of that learner. And we are now looking at the holistic development of the learner, because we looked at among the 5 aspects of holistic development, we have physical, emotional, social, mental development of a learner. So these are the components that CH is addressing. Now, as an international recognized approach, this approach includes a broad spectrum of activities and services that will take place in the school and even the surrounding community. It is not just focusing in the school alone, but it is even focusing in the community, even at home, because when we are talking of nutrition, this child who is a day scholar has to get nutrition from home. When we are talking of spiritual development, this child, when he goes back to the family, what kind of spiritual nourishment is he getting, or what spiritual orientation is the family giving the child? The community, the surrounding community will affect the social interaction with the child. So this one enables children and youth to enhance their health, develop to their full potential, and establish productive and satisfying relationships in their present and their future lives. These youths, they are in school and they are out of school. They interact with their fellow learners during school time. They go back at home to interact with the community. What they pick in school, what they pick at home what they pick in the environment, in the social, in their social setting, will eventually determine what they end up doing. Beth Mwikali Mutua, your hand is raised up. I can give you time and mute and tell us what you have. Beth Mwikali Mutua. Mutua? If it's not there, maybe the hand is not aware the hand is raised up. We can continue. So goals of comprehensive school health programs will include the following. One, it has to promote health and wellness, health of the learners, health of all the people who are in the school, and their wellness. Because it's not just the health of the learners alone, but it is health of all the people in school and around school. Because you see, we have communicable diseases. If we focus on health of the learners alone and we leave out others, the effect it will have on others will eventually also affect the learners. You saw COVID, which was affecting everybody. So that is why it is the health and wellness of every person in and around school. Then prevent specific diseases, disorders, and injury. We have specific diseases that are common because of the environment which learning institutions are in. So those are the diseases we need to bring the awareness of learners to. We have disorders in the community which are common, which are affecting most of the people in the community. Those are the disorders which we need to bring the learners to. We have injuries which are likely to occur in a school setup. Those are the injuries which we need to look at and see how we can prevent such diseases, disorders, and injuries. Then we have high-risk social behaviors in the society. We have to bring this to the attention of the learners. The high-risk social behaviors, those are behaviors which will interfere with their well-being. Risk behaviors like abuse of drugs and substance, engaging in prostitution. Such like behaviors are the behaviors that we have to bring the attention of the learners and help prevent such high-risk social behaviors. Then intervene to assist children and youth who are in need or at risk. CHS program should help us to intervene and assist children who are suffering maybe under child labor, children who are suffering under early marriages, children who are undergoing FGM. Those are the risks that we can identify, and through CHS, we assist those youths to come out of such issues, or youths who are living under gender-based violence, because such an environment will affect eventually their development. Then help support those who are already exhibiting special health care needs. Now, in our schools, in our society, we have learners who are having special health care needs. We may have learners, say, who are epileptic. We may have learners who may have certain disorders. We may have learners, say, like who are suffering from albinism. So those are all healthcare issues which require support, and you can only support, or they can be supported if the other learners understand and appreciate that they are only issues that can be assisted, but they are just normal. They are the same as the other learners. So promote positive health and safety behavior. We need to inculcate in the learners the aspect of promoting positive health. Positive health, these are common things like washing your hands after visiting a toilet, washing your hands before a meal and after, keeping your environment clean. And then we also need to help promote safety behaviors like sleeping under a net, things like that in areas that are malaria prone. Safety behaviors like when there is vaccination. Recently you heard there was this vaccination of COVID, which came up with so many other myths. People came up with the stories which were not scientific. So we should encourage our learners to look at health-related issues from a scientific perspective, not from a traditional setup where we have myths that cannot be substantiated. This one takes us to the next activity. The next activity is displayed there, and it is in your WhatsApp. So again, we want to do this very fast in 5 minutes. Again, let us go to our groups. Madam Rebecca, take us to our groups. Yes, Patricia, I can see your hand is unmute. Unmute and go on. Yes.
Okay, thank you. In group 7, we have looked at that activity. And this is the response that we have. Hello, are you getting me?
Yes, we are getting you, Patricia.
Thank you. So in question number 1, where we were to identify the signs that poor health had on the
Patricia, you are getting lost. You have disappeared.
Yeah, I have some technical problems kidogo here, but I think I'm back.
Yeah, you are back.
Yeah, we were to identify signs of poor health in the news that were reported there. And in this case, we've seen people being affected by jinkers, illicit brewing, and poor health. Generally, these people are not able to walk because of the jiggers and all that.
Yes.
In number 2, we have to explain how poor health is affecting the learners. We responded that it is affecting them emotionally. They're experiencing a lot of pain. There's a physical health. Some of them cannot even be able to walk. That's poor social life. Because of the jiggers, they are not able to socialize. And also we have the illicit brew. There's no social life in that situation for the community X there. Then on the community members, they are not economically productive.
Yes.
Because of the jiggers. Then the poverty, they're not able to work well. Most of them are indulging in these illicit brews, so they cannot even work. And then in part 3, because of time, based on the goals of CSH, we are to identify the strategies that can be utilized to mitigate the situation in that situation. One of the strategy that we've come up with, number 1, that they can have community meetings to educate the community on cleanliness so that they can do away with jiggers, health literacy to create awareness on how they can maintain cleanliness. They should also involve parents, in this particular case, the community, to be educated on how to take care of their children. Then we have also talked about the community should be enlightened on the issue of the dangers of drug abuse. And then there should also be law enforcement to avoid this situation where everybody is abusing drugs. They are taking a lot of illicit brew. Yes, that is what we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 7, for that discussion. Can we have Group 5? Group 5. Elizabeth Mweni Makau, your hand is up. You can unmute and talk if you are the secretary group 5, or if you have a question that you want to raise.
No, I'm in group 4.
You are in group 4, but because you have raised your hand,
Okay.
if go ahead.
Yes, I can present what we have. Number 1, the signs of poor health according to the news report. Number 1, we have seen there is poor health due to the infestation by the Njingas. Number 2, we've seen that there is excessive consumption of illicit brews by the people in that society. And lastly, there is extreme poverty, as we've read the article. Those are the 3 indicators. Number 2, some of the strategies that can be used to mitigate the situation in that area. Number 1, the government can try to provide shoes to the learners in the area. Number 2, creating awareness to the society about the dangers of the illicit brews and even the jiggers. Educating the parents on the importance of good health, providing spiritual nourishment to the society so that they can try to get out of the illicit brews, sensitize the society on the impacts of drug and substance abuse. The government can also take the affected people to rehabilitation centers to try and change them. The chief can also be engaged to stop the illicit brews. The children who have already been affected by the Njingas can be provided with education, free education for that matter. And the Ministry of Education should employ more health workers to help assist these people. And lastly, the government can disinfect the affected areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 7, Group 4, not 7, Group 4, for that discussion. Let us move on to recap on that because of time. Now, from the case scenarios reported above, you can see that community is having a lot of health problems that have been brought about by Giga infestation. And Giga infestation, as you are all aware, it comes up in an area that is not well maintained in terms of cleanness. When the cleanness of a place is compromised, then definitely we'll have such issues of jiggers. And now jiggers, when they attack or infest human beings, they lead to a lot of discomfort, swollen limbs. You may find people taking different walking styles because of the uncomfortableness they feel when they are walking normally. So out of that, you will find that it reduces the output of such people because they cannot perform optimally. So if there are children who are affected, you will find that because of Giga infestation, most of them will not attend school regularly. And even when they attend school, the learner will be debating whether to listen to the teacher teaching or to scratch the toe where the Giga is itching. So you can see because of that divided attention, the learner will not even be listening to the teacher, because when the Giga has infested the toe of a learner, it will be itching. So the learner will be uncomfortable, learning will not take place. Community members who suffer from such a problem, you will find in most communities, they usually have low levels of education. So they are not even able to know or understand what is causing the problem of Giga infestation. In fact, in some communities, when they are attacked with jiggers, they believe it is witchcraft just because of the low levels of education. Then you will also find that in our society, people who are deeply immersed in these illicit brews, these local illicit brews, are people who are of low education, and the poverty levels, they are generally poor. And that is because that is the only drink they can afford. And now they get in and they lose themselves completely. So having looked at the case study above, hope we have been able to identify the various ways poor health can adversely affect not only learners, but other members of the family and the community. So you can see something like jiggers, it is not affecting only the learners, but the entire community. So if we embraced CHS and learners get that information, they can be even our ambassadors to the community and to their families, because when they get back to their family at home, they are able to tell their parents it is because of the untidiness of our homes or houses that is leading us to be infected by jiggers. And with that, they can even guide their parents on how to improve on the tidiness of their homes so as to prevent jigger infestation. So the importance of school, importance of the school health programs, or not the importance of school health program, but the importance of school in the health programs. Why do we bring this issue of health in school? Why are we taking them in school and not in the health centers or health facilities? It is because it is in school where we have the young ones who are learning, who are being imparted with knowledge, ideas, and skills for their future life. So if we can impart this knowledge and skills to these learners, then we are sure we will be now reaching the whole community. And also, schools are efficient and effective channel to reach many people. If you look in the Kenya, you look at our country, Kenya, it is only in the school where we are talking of about 7 million learners in school. There is no any other forum where you will say you have 7 million people who are attending the function. So if you roll out information in schools at any given time, you are reaching to about 7 million at a go. And again, because of the multiplier effect, when they go back home, they are able to share that with their parents and even siblings. So you will find that the multiplier effect takes that to even 10 plus million people who have got that information. And it is through school that we can introduce behavior change communication. If you are able to change a child in school, then know that you have changed their entire community. Then again, schools provide interventions in various ways, learning experiences, linkages to services, and supportive environment. In school, learners will be taught about how to keep the environment clean. They will practice it. They will keep on being reminded every day, and then eventually they get they get acquainted to that. Then learners are admitted at an early stage of their development when lifelong behavior, values, skills, and attitudes are being formed. You know, in school, that is the stage which a human being is, the human being mind is developing, and it's developing at a higher rate. So if the information is imparted at that early level, then you can be sure the learners will grow up with that information and will practice it. Then lastly, when we have improved health enhances cognitive development, concentration, participation, and retention of learners in school. We have talked about this, and we shall continue talking about it. When learners are healthy, then we know that they are at the right stage or level to receive education. They will be able to concentrate in class, they will participate in class, and out of that participation, you find they get to learn more, they retain more, and that one, because they are healthy, they enjoy the learning environment in school, you'll find that it reduces absenteeism and then even increases enrollment and improves academic performance because learners are helped, they like the school environment, and they would want to get and acquire more knowledge. They are inspired. They are inspired to go to school because they are enjoying and they are benefiting out of what they are learning. So pillars of comprehensive school health that we have been discussing. We have discussed this in our various discussions. It's only that we were maybe not tagging them as pillars of comprehensive school health. But if you can look at our diagram, you can see we have school policies, then we have relationship and environment, then teaching and learning, community partnership. Then at the center, we have a healthy student who are better learners. So when these four are interrelated, when we have school policies, policies that are addressing comprehensive school health, policies that encourage the school environment to be kept clean, learners to be neat, the well-being of learners to be addressed, then the school has a good relation with the environment. We don't have drunkards coming from the community to come and howl obscenities in the school compound, stagger around in the school compound. Then we have, I can see there are two participants who have raised up their hands. Maybe I can listen to them before I continue. The two participants who have raised, Patricia Ndungi, I don't know if you are raising it fresh or it is that one when you wanted to present. If you have an issue, you can unmute. If not, we can continue. Fine. So I'll continue. Then we have community partnership. Okay, I was on relations and environment. A good learning environment that is clean, that is conducive for the learners. Then teaching and learning. What kind of teaching and learning is taking place in a school? Are learners being involved in the learning exercise? Are they learning? You know, when learners are actually learning, they enjoy school. When they find the knowledge they are learning to be relevant, they enjoy school and they are eager to learn. When the teachers who are teaching the learners are teachers who are well balanced, they don't project on the learners or their emotions. These are teachers who are stable emotionally. These are teachers who are stable socially. These are teachers who are role models to the learners. The learners will like and enjoy learning. But a case where the teachers who are coming to school are unstable mentally, they are unstable socially, they project their frustrations and stress on the learners and they make the learning environment to be hostile. And when the learning environment is hostile, the learners are not encouraged even to attend school on a day-to-day basis because they are not gaining much out of it. Then we have community partnership. Are the members of the community supporting learners? Are members of the community ready to understand that learners need to be supported in various ways, like provision of nutrition health? Are they supportive? Are they willing to work with the learners in their learning? So these are the pillars of comprehensive school health. Social and physical environment, that is the relationship among and between staff, school staff and students, and the emotional well-being of the students. How do teachers relate with the learners? Do the teachers show understanding? Do the teachers show parental love to these learners? Are they able to understand them? Are they able to interact with them and be able to meet them at their point of need. Then the emotional well-being of the learners. Are the learners stable emotionally to learn? Or there are learners who are disturbed? A learner who is emotionally unstable will not learn. Now, health schools have warm and caring relationship among students and staff and do not tolerate bullying. We have some school environment where some boys, because of the upbringing, they are bullies. So we need a school environment that will be able to identify these bullies and be able to turn them around, not to be bullies to others. We need an environment where we ensure that all the learners are feeling belonging, not where some learners are being bullied and even the teachers are not aware. You see, the teachers are far apart from the learner. So even when a learner is bullied, the teacher may not know. That is not a health school. A health school is where the teacher is close, is able to notice any change of behavior in a learner and ask why, and be able to address what is causing that. So physical environment will include buildings, grounds, play space, equipments in and surrounding the school. So this physical environment matters to the learner, because if the physical environment is not safe, it's not secure, it will interfere with the general learning of the learner. They must be safe and they must be accessible and in good condition for them, for the learners to make use of the physical environment. Now we have teaching and learning, both formal instruction and informal learning, such as having a school staff model healthy behavior for the learners. As teachers, we are role model to the learners. So we need to model a healthy behavior for the learners. We need to carry ourselves with the decorum. We have had cases in our line of duty when we go out to assess schools and we ask learners to share with us what they like or dislike about their schools. Some have come out in open to tell us that some of their teachers are not making them, they are not making the learning environment conducive. Reason being, maybe is a madam teacher who comes to class, and these are young adolescents, maybe from 2, from 3, and this is a madam teacher who is coming to class with a very short dress, which leaves a lot for imagination. So if you are a teacher and you behave in such a way, you are not a model, you are not a role model to the learner, because as a teacher, you are not supposed to introduce a stimulus in class that will interfere with the learning. The stimulus you are supposed to introduce in class is one that will enhance learning. So such like things, as teachers, we must guard against them. We have also even had cases where girls tell us, some of their male teachers, they go to class with the tight trousers, fitting trousers, and they leave a lot to imagination. So now in such a situation, you are not modeling a healthy behavior to the learners. So those are the things we need to guard against as teachers. Then health school policy, management practices, decisions, making process, rules, procedures, and policies at all levels that promote health and well-being and shape a respectful, welcoming, and caring school environment. A school should have a policy, should have a health policy. You are aware the Ministry of Education has a health policy manual, which was developed in collaboration between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education. That health manual, we need to look at it, and from it cascade our school health policy. And the school health policy should be comprehensive and cater all aspects about health and well-being of the learning environment. And they can include guidelines for physical activities, food sales, rules regarding conduct to frameworks of engaging communities, partners. You see, as a school, you need to have a policy. In local setup, you would go to a school neighborhood and you find at break time, we have a lot of villagers who are coming with all kind of foodstuffs to sell to the learners. How sure are we that those foodstuffs are safe for the learners? So we need to have a policy that will guide such an engagement so that we safeguard the learners and ensure that anything happening in school will not interfere with their well-being. Partnership and services. The school cannot exist in isolation. The school needs to have linkages with the broader community, and this one will enhance a wider range of supports and opportunities that the school will get from the community. So the school need to develop strong linkages with the local administration, health personnel. As a school in a locality, the nearest health center, the school should have a closer working relation with such a health center, so that in case there is any issue, an emergency in school, even before you carry or take the child to that health center, you have been able to communicate, and you can even get assistance before you get to the hospital. These people from the local community, some of them have various expertise. Like from health centers, we have public health officers who can come and partner with the school in giving school community talks in various health-related issues. They can come and talk to. We can even have partnership with the service providers like St. John's Ambulance to come and give first aid instructions to the learners and even the school community. So that's the kind of linkages we are talking of. The local administration, you need to work closely with the local administration to ensure that we don't have things coming from the local community to interfere with the school. We have had cases where we have few disgruntled members of the community selling drugs to school children. In such a situation, if you have partnership services with the local administration, you will quickly reach to the area chief or assistant chief, and he'll be able to help settle such issues. So the linkages with the community is very, very important. We have NGOs that exist in the locality. As a school, find out what that NGO is involved in. If it is anything that is relevant to the school, welcome them on board so that they can work with they can support the learners or parents in the community. Now, when action in all four pillars are harmonized, students are supported to realize their full potential as learners and as healthy, productive members of the society. So it is very important for the four pillars to be harmonized so that we are able to realize to realize full potential of learners. Now, next, we have activity 4, which is using a rating scale undertake needs assessment on the extent to which your schools have incorporated 4-pillar approach, 4-pillar of CSH, that's comprehensive school health. Now the rating, you are supposed to use the rating which is in activity 4. Now that one, I will leave it as a takeaway exercise which you will do after we finish our lesson. You will look at activity 4, look at your school, and be able to rate your school. When we come back, you will give us your rating in our next lesson. So let us move on components of comprehensive school health. So by definition, all comprehensive school health components must work together to improve the lives of students and their families. It is comprehensive because it touches a wider perspective, a wider range of activities, and more so, it is only not looking at the students alone, but it's also looking at their families, because these are students who come from homes, and any effect from home will affect them at school. So We have health education, physical education and physical activities, health services, counseling, psychological and social services, health school environment, staff health and wellness, family and community involvement. As you can see, quite a number of these things. There are some which the school must partner with the family at home to provide, partner with the family and partner with the school community, the school and the community to be able to provide. Because when we are talking of a safe environment, the school alone cannot ensure a safe environment for the learners. It is the entire community, because as the learners walk from school to home, they are working in an environment. How safe is that environment? So we need to have community involved to ensure that all of us are reading from the same script. Then, so those are the components. Those are the components of school, comprehensive school health. There are 7 in number. Now let us look at health and health education. Many people will ask, what is the difference between health and health education? What is the line between health and health education? And you will realize that they may almost mean the same thing, but there is a line between the two which we need to understand. So health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity and ability to lead a socially and economically productive life. You know, when we say somebody's health, we are not just looking at the absence of disease. One may be absence of disease, but that person is not healthy. That person may be mentally disturbed or stressed or unstable. So that one will not say that that person is healthy. For us to define, to say somebody's health, it is complete, both physical, mental, and social well-being. When one aspect of the 3 is not right, then that person is not healthy. So in a home or in a school environment, you can have a learner in class who appears to be well, but in the real sense, that learner is not well. That learner is socially disturbed. That learner has a social challenge from the background back at home. So we need to understand, when we are looking at learners or individuals, look at them in totality, not that there is an absence of disease. You can have an absence of disease, but mind-wise, you are disturbed. You have a lot of issues that are weighing you down. Then children have to be taught how to take care of themselves so that they can strive to live a long, balanced life. If we want our learners to have a balanced life, we must expose them to the 3 aspects of health: the physical, mental, and social well-being. And this we can only achieve that if they are exposed to them, to the 3 aspects, and they understand what each one entails. They have to understand what kind of foods are healthy and why we should say food A is health for your health and food B is not health for your health. They should be able to understand how they can prevent sickness and diseases, and they should also be able to understand and appreciate the importance of making good life choices. And they should know that the choices they make will affect their future life. So in decision making, we must help these learners to make decisions. And you see, you make decisions when you have facts, when you are well informed about what you are supposed to decide on. Now, health education, on the other hand, is simply the principles by which individuals and groups of people learn to behave in a manner conducive to the promotion, maintenance, and restoration of health. So those principles which people learn to behave or live as per given aspects, then we are talking of health education. When learners know that we need to have clean water for drinking, they will understand that clean water free of microorganisms will not subject them to getting waterborne related diseases. That is now health education. When a learner knows that I'm supposed to sleep under a net if I'm living in a malaria prone area, that is health education. He can appreciate the importance of sleeping under a net so that to keep off from mosquitoes. Then the learners can appreciate that they are not supposed to smoke because smoking can easily lead to lung cancer. That is now health education. Making a decision based on principles about health that will promote and maintain oral restoration of a good life. It will help learners acquire functional health knowledge, strength, attitudes, and beliefs, and practical skills, so that they do not now start, they get out of that mythical living. You know, in some societies, they have myths which cannot be supported scientifically. But when learners have health education, they'll get out of such myths and embrace the right living standards. Then goals of health education. The main goal of health education is to enable each individual and family in a community to exercise their right to develop and achieve physical, mental, and social potential. That is the main goal. That individual, that family member, is he able to exercise his or her right to develop and achieve the physical, mental, and social potential. Now, through health education, you can aim to help prevent diseases, because now through health, when learners have health education, they know of actions that they can take to prevent spread or to prevent getting infected by certain illness or diseases. And also through health education, you can maintain and improve health of the community. Learners who have health education, they'll be able to embrace a health living style. They'll be able to live in a clean environment. They'll be able to choose right nutrition, and such will have a health community. It will improve the health of the community and even the members. Then it will also reduce exposure to risk factors, because learners understand these risk factors and they are able to stay clear of such risk factors like alcoholism, drug and substance abuse, things like FGM. They know the disadvantages, they are able to appreciate, and with such, it reduces exposure to those risk factors. We have an activity, activity 6, which we need to look at, and that one will be almost our last activity before Madam Rebecca comes on to finish the remaining bit. So I want us to take 5 minutes. No, the activity was to take 10 minutes, but let us take 5 minutes. Then we dispense with that activity. We clear the remaining bit, and then we move on. So Madam Rebecca, take us to our rooms. For the interest of time, members, let us get back to the plenary. I would ask group 1 Group 1, are you there? Or if group 1 are not ready, any group that is ready, let the secretary take us. We are only taking one group. Kavusa Kasesi, I'm seeing you are complaining you are not your sound system. Maybe check your network. Yes, who can take us through? Any secretary? Any secretary who is ready?
Yes.
Esther Nzuvu? Is it Esther or Elizabeth? I can see.
Hello, Vincent.
Yes, please.
I can talk on behalf of Group 5.
Fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, the secretary cannot be able to say. Okay. The reason as to why this girl and the head of institution are going to, the benefit for that one is they want to enlighten the parents about the dangers of FGM. And they also want the girls who have already been scared of going home to feel secure that nothing wrong is going to happen. That is for question number 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody to take us question number 2? Identify other stakeholders who could have been invited to the meeting in order to have more impact.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Agatha.
Yes, Agatha.
They can achieve.
Yes. Area chief, yes. The religious leaders, correct. Any other?
Also, the Christians who will enlighten them on the dangers of FGM.
Yes, that is right. All other opinion leaders who would enlighten them on dangers of FGM, and even the medical health experts can be invited so that they enlighten them. Then lastly, identify other socio-cultural practices that can be harmful to learners and discuss how the school can help deal with them. Patricia, any socio-cultural practice that could be harmful to learners? Nancy, I can see your hand is up. Unmute and tell us.
Yes, Vincent. I was thinking of early marriages.
Yes, early marriages, you are right.
I was thinking of child warriors.
Child warriors, yes.
Child labor.
Child labor, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that input, Nancy. Then we have Muchiri. Muchiri, I can see your hand is up. Unmute. Muchiri. Muchiri may not be able.
Yes, we have cattle rustling.
Yes, cattle rustling.
I've done so.
Sorry, the second one.
Cattle rustling.
Yes, I've got castle rustling. What? Which one else? I've lost Mushiri, but at least he had shared with us one. I can see any other person? Another person who has something to share? There is Gala.
What about?
Yes, what about?
What about? Unwanted pregnancies.
Yes, unwanted pregnancies. What else? What else?
Hello, sir. Can I talk?
Yes, Darius. We are not hearing you well, Darius. Your network should be a challenge.
I've said
Alcoholism.
Alcoholism, yes, right? Alcoholism issue.
Drug abuse.
Drug abuse. Yes, all those are practices that could be harmful to our learners, and which we should guard against them as a school if we are to ensure for their well-being. Now, lastly, elements of school health. Elements of school health include WASH. I believe most of you are aware of WASH. That's water, sanitation, and hygiene. Then we also have hygiene, sanitation, then menstrual hygiene management, food safety. This one of menstrual hygiene management is a challenge to some of our schools, especially primary schools, where nobody talks to the learners about, the young girls about menstrual hygiene management. And you find they are left alone. Nobody at home is able to talk to them because it's a taboo. When they come to school, again, nobody talks to them about it. And when eventually it manifests in them, they get disoriented because they don't have support on how to go about it. So as the schools, as teachers, put in place measures of passing this information so that when it occurs, there is that support for the young ones. Then we have nutrition, we have disease prevention and control, and immunization. That is why, like, if you looked at the ECD level, when learners come to school, part of the information that is recorded is immunization, to ensure that they have been able to undertake all the immunization that are required at that level. So it is important as a school to sensitize the parents and even the learners about immunization, and also even about disease prevention and control of the common diseases that may be existing in an area. We have one activity aid. Because of time, we are not going to discuss in our breakout rooms. Where you have the activity, I would expect you to look at the activity at your own time and respond to the questions that follow after the activity aid. And I would like to welcome Madam Rebecca. Madam Rebecca, take charge.
Thank you, Vincent, for that session. It was a very good session, and I want us to appreciate him. Let's go to the reaction. Can you see the reaction icon, all of you? Then in your chat, or maybe in your chat, you can you can react to what we have been taken through since morning. I want to take you through emotional health, because for us to have comprehensive health, we have to look at emotional health. So briefly, I want to share my screen. I'm going to be very brief so that we can add. I know we have taken more time than we had planned, but it's good that we complete what we were supposed to do today. So I start explaining immediately about emotional health, and we find that emotional health refers to how a person is able to manage their thoughts, how a person is able to manage their feelings and emotions, and that is through the ups and downs of life. We find that in this life, there are so many issues that the teachers and the runners are going through. Therefore, it is important that we look at emotional health. We are going to have a comprehensive school health. So we find that someone with good emotional health is aware of their emotions, and therefore they have strategies to deal with both the everyday situations and even traumatic experiences that they go through. I believe teachers and the learners too, they undergo various situations in life. We find that the learners sometimes they lose their loved ones. The same case applies to the teachers. And in so doing, we find that their emotional wellness is affected. And I want to pose this scenario. Do you know that emotional health is an important part of overall health? Again, do you know that people who are emotionally healthy are in control of their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors? And also, do you know that emotionally healthy people are able to cope with life's challenges and they feel good about themselves, and also they have good relationships? So, emotional health, it helps, it allows the teachers to work productively and also to cope with the various stresses that they get every day. We find that now we have a lot of work. We have CBC that is coming. We have a lot of work. We are supposed to go for TPD, and we also have our families, and therefore we need to look at our emotional health. We find that when we have emotional wellness, it can help you realize your full potential, and it helps you to work with other people and even to contribute in the society. And we find that emotional health is also tied to physical health. We find that people who experience great amount of stress and negative emotions, we find that they develop other health problems. As they try to cope with the situations, they engage themselves into some other behaviors that can lead to other health problems. And these problems, they are not directly caused by the negative feelings, but those behaviors that they engage in. Because when a teacher is stressed, they might engage in smoking. And again, also the learners, when they are having a lot of stress, they will look for methods to cope. Some of the negative behaviors that may arise out of stress is that we might find them abusing drugs. And as a result, we know this will affect their physical health. At this juncture, I want you to close your physical eyes, and then you use your inner eyes, you look around your social family, even your work environment, and you identify some people or those individuals who are emotionally unhealthy. And then in the charts, just indicate which symptoms do they exhibit. Which symptoms do they exhibit? You can list them on the charts. And I believe you have come across, for example, these are some of the signs that maybe you could have come across, signs of emotional ill health. You find that those people tend to isolate themselves from friends. They isolate themselves from family. They isolate themselves from co-workers. Again, some of them, they have lower energy than usual. They are not able to cope with the amount of work that they have. Others, they tend to sleep a lot. Others, instead of sleeping, they eat too much. Others, they abuse drugs and alcohol. And then they are at work, there is low performance. Then we find that mostly there are conflicts arising. Sometimes they feel irritated. And then after they have, due to their behavior, negative behavior, they feel guilty. Sometimes there is a sense of hopelessness. And other times there is a feeling of worthlessness. And it is good also we look a bit at stress. We know that stress, everybody at some times undergoes stress, and stress is a normal human reaction, and it happens to everyone. And when you experience changes or challenges, that is those stressors, your body produces physical and mental responses. And that is what we refer to as stress. And stress responses help your body to adjust to new situations. And we find that stress can be positive because it keeps us alert. Sometimes it helps us to be motivated, and also it helps us to be ready to avoid danger. For example, if you have an important test coming up, and then a stress response might help your body to work harder and also even stay awake longer. But we find that this stress can become a problem when it continues, and then there is no relief to it. So here we have an activity. I want us to do this activity, and then I will conclude. By looking at causes of stress, and then we will call it a day. So I want us to look at this activity. You have it in your WhatsApp groups, whereby we have Jack. He's a 16-year-old boy from Deba Secondary School. And like many learners, he finds examination super stressful. So he has to look for a solution. Then his friend Joe informed him of a solution. He gave him a tablet and informed him he had other means of alleviating stress that he has discovered with some of his friends. So I want to put you into your groups. You get into those groups and discuss briefly before we come back, wind up, we take a photo, and I tell you what we are going to do. So I want to put you in groups. So welcome back to the plenary. You can see most of you are back. I want us to report, and I want us to report in this way. Group 1, I want you to report on part 1 of the question. Group 2, part 2 of the question. Group 3, part 3 of the question. I hope you have heard that. Group 4, whatever will not be mentioned by group 1. Group 5, whatever will not be mentioned by group 2. And group 6, what the group 3 will not have mentioned. Then group 7, what group 1 will not have mentioned. Group 8, what group 2 will not have mentioned. And group 3, what group 3 will not have mentioned. So in that order, I want us to conclude by hearing reports. The reports, I want to give the secretary group 1 to give their report briefly on the first item. What are some of the situations that elevate the stress levels of learners? You are there, unmute yourself. I've given you permission, but the rest you remain muted because we are going to have noise. Beth Mwikari.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah, sorry, can you pardon the question?
Are you giving a report, Beth?
No, I was not to give a report.
Anyone from group 1?
Group 7.
If group 2 you are ready, you can report. Group 1, group 4, or group 7 to report on the first sector.
You said group 4 will tackle part 1.
Yes, group 4 and
part 1 is on situations that can elevate stress levels of the learners. Number 1 is exams. Number 2, negative peer pressure. Number 3, excessive punishment. Number 4, lack of basic needs. Bullying by other students. Bullying by other students. And anxiety or fear of unknown.
Thank you for that report. That is group
4. Group 4.
Thank you,
Yes. Elizabeth Moeni.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth.
Yes.
We have somebody from group 2, group 5, or group 8 reporting.
Group 7.
Group 2.
Group 2,
Okay.
you report on the second part.
Remedies to peer, the remedies taken by some learners to peer pressure. One of them, they tend to turn to drugs, either alcohol or maybe other hard drugs. They tend to develop violent behaviors. They may turn to their peers for advice who may mislead them. They may become too moody or too emotional.
Thank you. That is group 2.
Group 2. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that good report. Group 3, group 6, group 9.
Group 3. Hello.
Yes.
Group 3, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, group 3. We were supposed to discuss the role of the teacher. Hello.
Yes, continue.
Yeah, we were supposed to discuss the role of the teacher in minimizing the stress, eh?
Yes.
So we have seen that one of the ways in which a teacher can minimize stress among the learners is use of guidance and counseling sessions in school.
Yes.
Yeah, the other one is involving learners in co-curricular activities. The other one is also minimizing the number of exams, which might bring stress among the learners. You minimize the number of exams undertaken by the learners. And the last one is involve learners in discussion concerning what might be affecting them in the daily life activities.
So thank you for that comprehensive report. Any that has been left out and you would like to raise it?
Yes, Madam Rebecca, group 6.
Yes, Nancy.
There is the use of being friendly to the learners, that are approachable.
Okay.
And then there is also sometimes we teachers make fun of learner situations, either knowingly or unknowingly. Avoid doing that, especially when we understand what the learner is going through.
Yes.
And then there is the involving of parents earlier, if the case maybe goes to an extreme case, or when a teacher notices a student engaging in those remedies of stress. And then there is also the teaching other learners to appreciate the student or the learner who is stressed in their situation.
Something, or you could kindly mute. So you have mentioned all these courses, that is examination. We have deadlines that we give to our learners, returning to study, pressure of combining work and study. All those are some of the causes of stress to learners. There is this activity which I will give as an assignment. This is activity 12, which you will do later. Teacher Maria teaches chemistry and physics in a municipality secondary school. She was involved in a road accident where she lost her husband in the accident, suffered multiple injuries, which made her remain hospitalized for months. You will look at it later. You identify the the psychosocial challenges Teacher Maria could be going through, and then how could those challenges impact her response to duty, and then which support can be offered to Teacher Maria to enable her cope up with life in her current situation. So that That one you will do later because you have the assignment you discuss in your WhatsApp groups, and then we will look at it. We said that also teachers go through stress, as you have had in that scenario. I know we could have had a very good discussion, but now because of time, and I don't want to give you an assignment which you will not be given time to report, you will have it as a takeaway assignment. So when the teachers are bereaved, when they lose loved ones, sometimes due to divorce or separation, sometimes due to loss of jobs, increase in financial obligation, sometimes when they get married, we know the responsibilities that come up with marriages. Moving to a new home can also cause stress to teachers. Sometimes chronic illnesses. We have illnesses that can cause teachers to be stressed. Then if the work conditions are not conducive, we find that the teachers may get stressed. Again, job assignments, which the teachers might not be able to meet. Then also we find that in the workplace we have work politics, which might affect a teacher. And then the teacher may get stressed. Then we have interpersonal dealings, how the teachers relate with one another. I have read the charts and I have seen some of the signs of emotionally unwell person. You have indicated them there and I have read. And we have some of the coping mechanisms. How can teachers cope with stress? By being self-aware. You are able to be aware of your emotions. When you are about to get angry, you are aware, and then you are able to react appropriately. I know everybody has ever been angry, but the way we react to that anger is the issue. So expression of feelings in appropriate ways, we are supposed to be able to express ourselves in the appropriate way. And then we are supposed to think before we act. We are also supposed to manage. We are also supposed to manage stress properly, and also take care of our physical health through exercise and other ways. We are also supposed not to be isolated. We should not isolate ourselves. We should connect with others, and then we find a purpose and a meaning for our lives. So I want us to end there, and I want to ask you to ask yourself, think, this is group processing. You think of one thing you each did well that contributed to the group success and share that with your group. I don't know whether we are going to break and then we come back and you report one thing I have contributed to the group, or you indicate in the charts. Is it? Or you raise your hand. Yes, this is the most appropriate. One of you to raise your hand. And then from each group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, you tell us the contribution you made to your groups, so that we add there. And then I review, you go to the virtual campus, you do the reflection of the day. Can somebody raise their hand and tell us what one thing they have learned, one thing they have contributed to the groups that you have been moving to? Raise up your hand. I will give you a chance. Or I allow all of you to, if you are ready, unmute yourself and tell us the contribution that you had to the group. Hey, there is a lot of noise. Somebody to raise their hand. I give them a chance.
Madam Rebecca, I've raised my hand.
Yes, continue.
Mary Kiveka?
Yes.
Great. One thing I've contributed is I've joined the group.
Mm-hmm. Unmute yourself, Mary Kitheka.
Yes, I've Mary Kitheka.
Yes.
Debate. One thing I joined the group and I actively participated in the activities you told us to do. And from the members, we also build one another and we really learned a lot from one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Somebody else? Unmute yourself and speak because it's like I can see the other side, those who have raised their hands.
Yes, my name is Donald.
Yes. And the rest remain muted so that we hear.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Kathy Chule.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I joined the group today. And one thing I'm glad I've been able to know about the 4 pillars of comprehensive school health and learned them in details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Someone else?
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Patricia Ndungi.
Hello. Patricia Ndungi.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Patricia.
Yes. Been able to coordinate the group as a chair.
Okay, that's good.
And in another activity, I also gave the report as the secretary.
Thank you. Nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I want us to go on to the last slide.
Hey, madam.
I know. Yeah.
Marathon.
Now I want us to look at the last slide. Just one person to tell us, Amma, what I want you to go and do. In the virtual campus, you go and you will find the reflection. You see that this is what is being marked. So you have to go to the virtual campus and then you put down, I learned that, what you learned. I need to learn more about what you have been taught today. What would you like to learn more about? And then what I liked about the day was, if it is the group work, you write it down. And remember, when you are giving the knowledge, skills, and attitude also, you can go a step further and explain how you will go and apply what you have learned in your school so that you get more marks. And again, try to be innovative as you present your work. Suggestions I have for improvement of the day include also, you give us that. And this is the one that will be marked, the one that I said will earn you marks. So I also have an extended activity here. This URL, you have it in your WhatsApp group. Go and open the link, you watch the video and summarize the stress coping mechanisms. I know I have rushed you a lot because time was not on our side. When you read, write short notes on how a teacher can help learners deal with stress. You have reported a few of them, but this one will also help you have some more. So on the virtual campus, take an entry in your reflective journal on comprehensive school health. And this is what will guide you. Don't go outside what has been given. I learned that. I need to learn more about what I liked about the day was. And I hope you also did the same for the session 1. The session that we had in December, and those who are not able to make, they were given a catch-up session. So Let us have all that. I want you to put on your videos so that we do a group photo, and then after that, we will have a prayer. Somebody will pray for us. Mary Kiteka, you have been very active. I want you to unmute yourself. You will pray for us, and then I take the group session, group photo. Mary Kiteka, let us start with the prayer.
Okay, shall we pray? Jehovah, our Heavenly Father, we come before the heaven throne this time. We want to thank you so much because of protecting us. We thank you so much because of our facilitators, Rebecca and Vincent. They've done so well to us. We also thank you for the participants. Whatever we have read, help us so that we can use them in our schools. We have our afternoon, which is coming, or the remaining hours of the day. We commit it under your care and direction. Be with us and take care of us. Forgive our shortcomings and kindly accept our prayers as we bring them through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.